Hi, everybody. I'm wondering how that meditation went for you last night, if you did it, and what your experience was. Some of you have told me that you had tingling. I had a really profound message from one of my friends in Brooklyn, and she said she literally saw the earth being freed from kind of a dark web. And I actually think this is going on. So this is April 5th, and it's our first day in the new time, in the new portal. Now, I know that this has been talked about by light workers and whatever else they call us, right? Old soul empaths, truthers. I told you that was a new word that I heard. But everyone's working together. And I think last night there were probably millions and millions of people meditating. And if you missed it, please understand, you can't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. You could sit right down now and simply say a prayer and tune in to the heart of Gaia, of Mother Earth. Can you imagine all the healing that's happening for Earth? I keep thinking of Central Park being taken back by the birds, and they must be having the best time with building their nests and having clean air and fish coming back into the ponds around the world. I remember seeing those things in Venice. I know, now let me just be very clear that I know how many people are being triggered from trauma that is probably centuries and centuries old, as the way of it on Earth has been warfare. And, you know, the half of 1% at the top, the global elite running everything, that's what's all coming up to be cleared. Okay. Now, I think I've used the surgical idea of an abscess. The way you treat an abscess is you've got to incise it at the top, and then the pus comes out, and it has to be drained. And sometimes you have to go in there with your with an instrument or your fingers and loosen up what are called loculations. Loculations are where infection gets kind of hidden away. Biofilm is the same, by the way. So I think that's what we're in the middle of, is the just breaking up the loculations, as it were, on planet Earth. And there's all kinds of YouTube videos that you can watch about that actual process, about who's doing it, how it's going. And here's the thing. You get to believe whatever you want to believe. But I do want to tell you this. It's not exactly the number of meditators. It is the consciousness of the meditators. You probably know the book Power versus Force. And when someone is high vibrational, and when you feel better after you've been around them, when they're high vibrational, you raise up to that level. If you haven't done this already, I would suggest that you go to YouTube and look at the metronomes. Okay, that if you take metronomes and you start them all off at different, tick, 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 tick. After amount of time, they'll all start doing this together. And that's called coherence. And it is a kind of a principle of the universe. So when those of us who are working to keep our vibration high, keep it up there, and sometimes you got to tread water and you got to pedal, because it isn't easy, especially if you watch the mainstream media. I cannot manage to get Apple News off my iPhone or off my computer. So that means when I wake up in the morning and I turn on the Wi-Fi and the iPhone, because I turn all that off at night when I sleep, there's always the piece of bad news, bracing for the thing, or this many people have died, and, just slam it into you to be afraid. And what I want you to do instead, it's okay to look at that stuff, see if it triggers you, because our job now is we're clearing out all the trauma. I go out in my backyard and I see that we have crocuses coming up, and nature is happening. Spring is here. Now, I know if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's fall, but in our hearts, it's things coming up anew. Easter is coming. It's Palm Sunday if you're Christian. But remember that all astrology is based on the agricultural year. So we're in the season of Aries. Aries is when you plant. It's actually the beginning of the astrological calendar. It's the I am. I know so many Aries women, all right? And I just want to say, because it's fun, Aries rules the head. It's the ram, right? And most Aries women I know have a lot of glasses, sunglasses, and hats, and they look great in them because Aries rules the head. And it's it is the general of the zodiac. I have my North Node in Aries in the 10th house, which means I'm like the prow of the ship. And that's why sometimes my writing or what I say or some of the Instagram posts, it triggers people because I'm like, this is how it is. I'm a warrior. I've always been a warrior. I'm working on being a little less of a warrior, having things be easier now. But I've had a whole lifetime. Many of you have known me for many, 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 many years. And what it has taken to write what I've written and say what I've said, oftentimes 20 years before the collective sees the truth of it, is not easy. But that North Node in Aries is like, I'm going to ram it through because that's what I'm here to do. So I want you to, today, ask yourself, what is the new world that you would like to see? Where is the ease? Where is the rebirth? And remember that birth, is very often dysfunctional and painful. But it can also be orgasmic, okay? So a lot depends on how much resistance you have. So I would ask you to pay attention to those things that are beautiful and funny. And every now and then, like going into an old pub to have a beer. I don't drink any alcohol. I hate it. But I understand the deal. Going in, getting grounded, being with the folks. I know we can't do that now. We can do it virtually. Is also good. I don't really like anyone who's like so elite of the light that they're not human. Ugh. I mean, I've had friends who say, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Sometimes you need to swear. Okay, that's my awakening message for today, the day after the portal. And please tell me in the comments how that meditation was for you. And remember, you didn't miss anything. All time is now in the quantum field. So you can meditate today if you were asleep. Because this is the new world. This is the new beginning. Now, just remember the old stuff's being cleared out. And the news is going to keep it going as long as they possibly can.